Hey everyone, I'm Sam, this is Chris, and we're Wyvern Kodiak. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about crossbar locks. We're going to go through a history of them, their evolution, and we're going to check out a few of them that we really like, and a few that we really don't. So stay tuned, that's coming up next.
In 1988, Bill McHenry and Jason Williams sold the crossbar lock to Benchmade. Benchmade renamed it the Access Lock, and they held a patent on it until 2018. Since then, there's been numerous companies that have put their own name on, like Microtech, calls theirs the Ram Lock.
Yeah, Kaiser calls theirs the clutch lock.
Yeah, then Hogue calls theirs the Able Lock.
Dude, there's a lot of them. I don't even know all the names out there, to be honest with you. But I think we could definitely go into them afterwards and talk about at least some of them that we have.
Yeah, so I think that we should try to call it crossbar as much as we can because there's so numerous names where we could try to get the get one.
Oh, we'll trip over ourselves if we don't just stick to one common name, right?
Yeah, and this was my first introduction to the crossbar lock. It was the Benchmade 940, and I wanted one of these Osbornes, and when we were on our trip in Missouri, I knew that this was a knife that I wanted to pick up, and once I got my hands on it, really pleased with it. What was the first one that you purchased?
Same trip, man, right? Benchmade bug out, right? Now, obviously this one's a little bit modified, right? I changed some things up, but Benchmade bug out is the first crossbar lock that I had, and I mean that was a great trip that we had.
Yeah.
And I still remember sitting in AG Russell trying to figure out how to utilize these things or how to deploy them, right? Yeah. I mean we looked ridiculous.
We hadn't figured out the springing mechanism here, at that point. We were just trying to, throw it open, sling it open.
Yeah. That was a funny little bit before we kind of figured that one out. But what do you think about taking a look at some of these knives closer and going over some of the details?
I love it.
All right, cool. Let's do it. As you can see here, we have a whole bunch of crossbar locks, and some of these are absolutely fantastic, and some of these have some things that need to be worked on. This right here is real stiff. This canary from QSP, and I'm sure that it probably just needs a little bit of tuning, but not my favorite. It's a little bit small. Then you get to some of these other knives. My favorite one's probably right here, this Kaiser Drop Bear. This thing is just absolutely phenomenal. Action is quick, simple, detent is perfect, and overall the knife is just on point. Another really cool knife that I like is the SRM Mirage. Picked this up at Blade Show in Atlanta, $50, and it is a great $50 knife. Super, super sharp. Drop action on it. Just phenomenal. Little weird thing that I have here with this though is the liner on this knife is like a taco. It's one piece of metal that wraps around it like this, and it's a little bit different. But for 50 bucks, this is an absolute budget banger. So love that. We had talked about it before, the Benchmade bug out. This was my first crossbar lock, and still going strong. Absolutely adore this knife and carry it quite frequently. One of the things that have evolved over time though has been the mechanism, the actual bar mechanism. As you can see here, if you look at this angle here, Kumwu put like a sweep going up this way, so that when you grab it, you have something to hold on to a little bit here when you deploy the knife, and it's really, really cool. It's super comfortable. It makes it really give you some confidence in when you're grabbing this knife that it's opening when you want it to. So awesome job by Kunwu on that. One of the other things that you see here is just different shape buttons. This is the Penguin by QSP, and you can see here that they have changed the shape a little bit as well. So a lot of things that have changed with crossbars over the years. And then, you know, obviously they've made them a whole lot more prettier, right? And this is a concept Quasar, a Paul Munko design. And this is just absolutely stunning. And, you know, they're not all just user knives, and some of them can be showpieces and stuff like that. And this is just, this is beautiful.
Sam talked about his first being a Benchmade bug out. My very first crossbar lock was the Benchmade Osborne 940. And I couldn't wait to get my hands on one of these things. And when I did, I was really pleased. But one of the dislikes that I had initially with this was the studs were uncomfortable. You know, I've done some filing and years of open and deploying. I probably opened and closed this thing easily over 1,000 times, you know, at this point. But it's done a great job. The Omega springs have been really good, but that's one of the evolutionary changes that have been made, you know, over the years with these, is that the springs have gotten thicker. They've gotten a little bit better. I've seen mixed reviews online with people talking about breaking them, but with all of mine, I easily have, you know, 2,000-3,000 deployments with, you know, the different knives, and I've never had an Omega spring break on me to this point. One of the other evolutions is, you know, something that Sam had mentioned earlier, is the Kaiser clutch lock. And if you can see here, we have the different holes that allow you to anchor the spring in different spots that increase or decrease the tension, so you have the kind of detent that or is your preference. And then Sam had brought up this knife as well. This is a knife that's just an absolute dislike for me. I mean, it's sticky, it doesn't move well, and it doesn't drop. But on the flip side, I can grab something like the Concept Main Street here. This knife right out of the box is a very comfortable spring. I really enjoy it. For $65, this is an absolute amazing knife for the money. It's very comfortable. I don't have hot spots. Again, the locking mechanism is fantastic. And the last knife that I would have that I would say I want to love this knife is the Miguron Maori. And this particular one, it feels great, but the action on the, you know, when I deploy it, it just doesn't land hard enough for me. And that's one of the things that I would say that I don't like about crossbar likes, for all of the positives, the, you know, the ambidextrous deployment, the ability to do it one-handed, open and close, keeping your hands out of the blade path, all those wonderful things. I really like a good solid lockup that you oftentimes get with a frame lock or a liner lock. But this particular knife slices really well. It's really good, and I can't really complain about the knife itself. It's it just doesn't snap as hard as I would like it to. And I'm with Sam. I also have a drop bear, and that's probably, you know, one of my favorites to utilize also.
So today's video is going to be a little bit shorter, but we wanted to show you like 12 knives that all had the same locking mechanism and of all varying values. And Chris, I mean, we have knives that are $50 and we have knives that are $375. Yeah. But the cool thing about it is that all the knives really operate the same way. Yeah. They all have their Omega springs and stuff like that. And it hasn't changed over the years. Yeah. 1988 to 2025, and you know, why fix what's not broke, right?
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, and you can get one of these great knives at a great price point that you were talking about. I think that Main Street is amazing. You know, one of the ones that we didn't get into is the Bel Air. It's a fantastic knife, the Kershaw there.
Yeah.
And again, another great lockup for a crossbar lock. And that, to me, is my only knock, is that a knife for me is much of a fidget toy, and I like the acoustics and I like the feel, and that one and the Mainstream are probably, or the Main Street, are the two of my favorites that are on the table.
Yeah, and I mean, fidget wise, fantastic. Yeah. Not a whole lot of sound to this one, but the action on it's incredible. Yeah. I mean, this is a super fantastic knife. Yeah. I had mentioned before, and I guess I'll just keep returning back to it, right? My favorite on the table right now is definitely the Kaiser Drop Bear. I love this thing. It is just, I can't put this thing down. It's a fidget toy right now for me. And then, truthfully, you know, the more and more I use it, the Pulsar XL, and I mean, this thing's a big old hog, right? Yeah. But there's just something fun about this right now. Not to mention the fact that we were cutting paper before, and this thing was making like absolute razor sharp. So, absolute beast of a knife. And
you get your workout in carrying it.
It is what, 6.1 ounces or something? I mean, that's silly.
You brought up the Drop Bear though, and you know, I've got another one that's more of an entry level, using a 154 steel, and I think that, so again, you don't have to spend a ton of money to get an amazing knife. And as we were going back and forth with those, it's the exact same action, because again, as you pointed out, the locking mechanism is all the same. You're just paying for the fit and finish when you want something a little bit different.
Yeah, and you know, you were on your purple and black kick while you were in Atlanta, and I don't have a whole lot of knives with a whole lot of color to them, right? I mean, I seem to be a creature of habit with black knives, so I decided to throw caution to the wind and put some color in my life, and that's why I kind of chose this one. But yeah, overall though, you know, I mean, it's a great locking mechanism. This is a big reason why Chris and I decided to do a crossbar lock for our first design, was because it's reliable, it's consistent, it's a known entity, and so many companies do it that it would be easy for us to find somebody to OEM. Sure, are we adding another one to the mix? Absolutely, but the mechanism isn't the only thing that needs to be the same, right? We can make other things different. We can make the blade shapes unique or the handles unique. So we're doing some other things, but the locking mechanism, and that's the plan. Keep in mind, we're not at prototype yet. We're looking to order those and get those going. But when we do, it's always subject to change, depending on what the OEM manufacturer comes back as. They may say, hey, you know, this would be a much better fit this way. And, you know, we'll take those things into account at that time.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I think that great locking mechanism. I'd highly recommend them, and we've given a lot of options to look at today.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's wrap it up, and like, subscribe, and check out our Instagram page, Wyvern Kodiak, there as well. And other than that, strong steel and
solid lockup.
Have a good one.